Coming up on this edition of VCU In-Depth, documentaries from students in VCU's Robertson School of Media and Culture.
We'll see how some Henrico Middle School students are learning what fresh food is all about thanks to a local nonprofit.
And then we'll break out with some Latin dance moves that are becoming all the rage in Richmond.
VCU In-Depth begins right now. Good evening and welcome to VCU In-Depth. I'm Tyler Thrasher.
And I'm Eli Ruckman. Thanks for joining us as we feature documentaries from the undergraduate students in VCU's Robertson School of Media and Culture.
According to a 2015 survey by Feeding America, there are more than 40,000 people in the Henrico area who are food insecure. This means that they do not know where their next meal is coming from.
One nonprofit in Henrico is giving the community a fresh start by providing local, organic, and affordably priced fruits and vegetables, giving a local middle school and much of the rest of this community a fresh start.
When the Cornerstone Farm began, its mission was not only to transform the vacant stretch of land behind Fairfield Middle School into a farm growing fresh produce, but it was also to give a fresh start to an at-risk Henrico community.
Community health for us is sort of it's the middle of this Venn diagram that all of our programs and operations cover.
This community definitely needs more fresh resources, I would say. Anything that's local, I'd say within a 5 to 10 mile radius, the fresh food is either non-existent or it's bad.
Basically, a food desert is an area that doesn't have easy access or no access to reliable produce and groceries in general.
My problems with the use of the word in the metaphor food desert, because it's a failure to accurately address what food justice or food access really is, which is a racial and socioeconomic oppression in 2017. Not only has healthy food not been an option for a long time, but the unhealthiest of foods have been the only option, or some of the only options.
When you don't have access to food and you know you don't have access to food, that's going to have a psychological effect on you. And so food access is really a community issue, and it affects sort of the health and well-being of the community in ways that is more than just, going to the corner store and grabbing a quick candy bar or, a $1, hamburger. While that might be some calories, is it really providing them with the nutrition that they need to be productive, healthy citizens within their community?
You've got to really educate the community as a whole and let them know that this is an overarching thing. It's not just that one family, that has been down on their luck. This is an overarching thing. There's tons of people that are in need and don't really realize it.
And that's really how our entire farm here came to evolve in this current state, is having those conversations with students and with community members and learning what they're looking for is more opportunity.
Because once you have community input and they can buy things, they will see the efficacy of it also, that I can get some fresh food close to where I live and it won't cost that much. I think I would call it shortcomings that I see is that they get caught, they being persons who own stores, they get caught up in this competition and also profit that you don't put that much stress on the people that they're serving.
Any type of local grocery store doesn't really seem to cater to a lot of fresh foods.
Organic food in stores costs more money, so most people tend to have to buy the ones that are GMO and chemically processed, but here they're cheaper and easier to get.
What I like about it is that it's a good way of getting fresh food and not having a lot of chemicals. It's because of my impression that we live in a more chemical society. What I like about the farm approach is that we kind of teach youngsters about fresh fruits and vegetables that some families don't necessarily buy, depending on their socioeconomic level, and how they can be very helpful to good health.
So we're exploring this question of whether we can replicate this in other places to target our school communities and target surrounding residents and meet those nutritional needs in a way that's sustainable, it's healthy, it engages community members in a wide range of activities, and it's fun and it beautifies places. The vegetables all are produced to support two main community groups: our school community, so teachers, parents, students, and that's students in school and out of school time. So we're working with nutrition services to follow their policies and procedures to make sure that we can close that gap, that barrier from food being produced right here on this farm to going into that cafeteria 200 yards away.
Food access, it shouldn't be a privilege, and so food should be something that everyone has access to.
Alongside with wanting to get fresh produce back into the Henrico community, the farm was created aiming to educate local students on the importance of a healthy lifestyle.
For the last few years, has been focused on middle schoolers and middle school academic and personal achievement, achievement in life.
Yeah, so it's really trying to connect, a real learning experience through the farming and fitting into the curriculum with just math and or English and social studies, and you can create lessons on the farm and then kids learn and have more of a relationship with the food they're eating, and just kind of building, reimagining a relationship with the nutrition and everything.
Goal with that program is to kind of cultivate a set of skills and proficiencies that makes a whole person a well-adjusted socially and academically, cognitively, spiritually, well-adjusted person that will go on to succeed in life.
I think it really teaches them about work ethic and what it takes. Sometimes we don't always see, we always see the final product rather than the steps that it takes to get there. And I think with the community garden, you get to see, something from the very tiny seed all the way to the beautiful sunflower or the giant pepper or the pumpkin or whatever it is that they're growing.
There are many studies from much smarter people than me that can correlate how healthy food impacts your brain, your cognitive abilities, your sense of self-esteem. Kids who have food have improved test scores. They're able to focus, because if a child is hungry, it's really difficult for them to learn. It's probably very difficult for them to concentrate, which just has, sort of a domino effect of what their behavior and what their attention is going to be and their ability in school is going to be.
There will be some changes in their behavior. And one of those behavior changes will be their view about foods and how important foods are, and that we are what we eat. So therefore, I think for a lot of them, a good impact will be that some of them will learn more about good foods, good vegetables, and they will carry that home and impact their homes.
I eat healthier, definitely.
Year after year, students who are coming through the Grow On program are they're demonstrating character development. They're demonstrating understanding, awareness, and empowering skills in things that we're talking about. Understanding that our choices have not only direct impacts on ourselves, but ripple out into our community. And choices around our food consumption and resource consumption, and whether or not we're stewards of the resources where we have access to. Something they really understand more intimately, and they show that.
I love gardening because it's it helps the earth, and it's you feel good about it.
I met a lot of new people, so that's changed my life, and it's fun, and I want to come back, so.
Toby looks to proceed to help this farm grow physically with the hopes of it serving even more people in the near future.
So we're currently fundraising to build that barn that will have our whole processing facility in that. That barn will have the washing station, packaging, and then cold storage. So it flows in one door, out the other, and then distribution. We have intensive production goals, and we have targeted markets that we're looking to connect our food to. And so that's like right here in our school community, our students and teachers, and our surrounding neighbors. We know that urban agriculture is not going to feed all of Richmond. What we can do and what we aim to do is grow 10 things really well all year long that can meet a salad bar, right? A salad bar that right now lies in the cafeteria empty. So no matter what time of year it is, our goal is to have 10 things growing that can fill that salad bar. And if we can do that at higher and higher scales of production, we can hit more and more salad bars. I guess it's time to shut down the farm stand, huh? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize what time it was.
I'm Bill Oglesby, an associate professor in VCU's Robertson School of Media and Culture and the instructor for the documentary class. Joining me tonight are Parker Shoemaker, Kendall Masterson, and Khalil Shepard, who produced the Fresh Start documentary. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Parker. What would you say your favorite part of putting this whole thing together was?
I'd say my favorite part personally was getting out there and actually getting to see a farm like that. For me, farms aren't that big of a deal, being from a small town and everything, but seeing something like that, 6 acres behind a middle school in Henrico, I thought that was really cool, and being able to get out there and see all of that, see what they've done at a middle school like that, and shooting all of that, I think that would be my favorite part of shooting this whole documentary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. Kendall, what was your favorite part of being down on the farm?
My favorite part was probably getting to know community members and seeing and hearing how the farm impacted their lives.
Did you find that you have a long learning curve, or did you have any background in farming at all?
No, I have absolutely no experience at all. I'm from Charlottesville and not the farm area of Charlottesville, but it was really awesome to see a small farm like that thrive in that community.
Mm-hmm. Khalil, let me ask you, did you actually get to try any of the vegetables that they grew?
Oh, you bet I did, Professor. Wow. It was, Toby had this thing, the person who was the head of the farm there, had this thing where he'd always say, grab it if you're hungry, just grab it if you're hungry. And all the time he would just pick up a pepper, pick up a carrot or whatever it was and just eat it. And I think I took that to heart, and I ate a lot.
So what did you think?
I mean, it's kind of interesting when you get to actually be there and interact with something that benefits the community. So you're eating these vegetables, you're like, man, these are really good. They're better than anything else. I had a tomato, blew my mind.
All right, good. Well, I always hear that the whole idea of seeing where your food is coming from, that's one of the real benefits of farming, even if it's urban farming, that you actually sort of develop a connection with the food. Did you get a sense of that? Anybody can answer that when you were producing this?
Yeah, absolutely. It comes up a lot in the documentary, and a lot of people said it as we were going through the process, but that was a big focal point of what they were trying to do, is show the kids who seem to have a distant relationship with fresh vegetables that this is where your food comes from, it's local, it's organic, and it's good for you. And it helped out a lot with the community and all the kids at the farm. So it was really cool to see the whole thing, see how they go through the whole process of seeding all the beds and everything, and then see the peppers and the onions and all that they had on the farm.
Now, I would think that could get a little out of control. Do all of the kids take part in this, or is it just a certain number that are chosen for this?
It's just an internship after school program, but during this school day, teachers are encouraged to bring their students to the farm for any learning activities that they want to partake in.
Okay, so a few lucky ones are the ones that get to actually see this firsthand. Mm-hmm. But everybody gets to eat the food?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, I've been speaking with Robertson School students and documentary producers Parker Shoemaker, Kendall Masterson, and Khalil Shepard. Good job, guys.
Thanks, Dr. Oglesby. There are countless types and styles of dancing practiced all over the world, each one reflecting the culture that created it. Our next documentary focuses on Latin dance in particular.
Salsa, tango, and bachata and more are performed in clubs every night, not just in their countries of origin, but around the world. Ariando takes a look at how these dances are making waves in Metro Richmond, drawing in people of all shapes, sizes, and colors.
Dancing itself, it's replicating, expressing what you feel, how you feel about the music, what the music makes you feel like. It's kind of a unique thing because we use nowadays so many technologies to connect with each other. This is, something that you don't need technology, it just exists.
A lot of people like to see things that are different, so I like to give that to people and give them something to remember.
We're like our own family and we take care of ourselves.
Sometimes you can't find the words, or it's just a stressful situation, and dance is always that outlet for me.
When I go to dance, I don't think if I dance well or not done well, who's going to be there, who's not going to be there, who's showing up or nothing. I'm going to enjoy.
I got introduced to it at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University, where I was attending, and I happened to be attending an advanced Spanish class. And in the class, the instructor said that not only would we go over language, but we would go over food, culture, and just all different aspects of the Spanish culture, quote unquote. So then she started talking about music. She pulled out this portable CD player and started playing a Celia Cruz song, which was salsa. And man, it hit me. She said you can only go out of town in DC because here in Richmond, it wasn't quite as active. There were a couple of bands playing, but sporadically. But consistently they were in DC, so I was able to go to DC, see it for the first time, loved it. The rest is history.
My name is Boris. I'm a salsa teacher, salsa dancer. I used to compete. Now I'm primarily teaching group classes. You do kind of patterns, but everything is on the fly. You can't improvise, you go with the music. You don't have to have routine like in a ballroom. And you can connect even more this way with the music. So this kind got me a lot. Because you could see pretty much a story between the both partners telling through the dancing.
I realized there's something else. There's another story. It's something else to share your dance with somebody. Not to dance at someone, but to dance with someone. My purpose when any song on is to have my dance partner feel comfortable and relaxed and enjoy that song. That's my purpose. Is to make sure that whomever I'm dancing with is enjoying our social dance.
The owner of Emilio's at that time, his name was Emilio. And he called me and said, hey, Steve, look, we have a Tuesday night that's going on. You're a salsa DJ. I love salsa. I want you here. That started 13 years ago. And it's a formula that still runs today. I handle entertainment, they do the restaurant, we roll.
I built my restaurant, wanted to have a place where you can have good food, good atmosphere, dancing, music, for everybody. You don't have to 18, 20, 40, 60, 80, we don't care. Color, who you are, we don't care. You want to have good time, you want to have good food, you want to dance, this is the place.
What I decided to do was, instead of connecting Emilio's to the dance community, which was all shapes, sizes, colors, race, nationalities, whatever, I decided to connect it to VCU. And I said, man, if I can get VCU coming, get the students excited about the dance. Number one, the future of the dance will always be here.
5, 6, 7, 8.
My name is Andrea Garcia Plata, and I'm the president of Muévelo this year. So we do workshops that do general basic things, and then we have a couple of other workshops that we hold during the week that are more like for like fancier moves if you want to get a little bit better in the social dancing area. So the diversity has definitely like expanded. A lot of it has been through like word of mouth, I think. So like friends of friends have been trying it, and so they tell their friends. Whenever we go out and do things, people who are watching, they're becoming more interested. So it's evolving.
So that kind of gives you a big paraphrase of how it started, how it grew, where it's going. Now we're going into a Congress, completely unheard of 20 years ago. The Salsa Bachata Congress, which will be September 7 and 8 next year, 2018, man, that's a 15-year dream come true. It's a 2-3 day event, in some cases 4, where there's workshops, dance workshops, performances, social dancing at night, vendors. I've noticed in these other cities, they have these congresses, there's thousands of people that, not just the locals, but so many people from out of state, out of country, will show up. I am around hundreds, if not thousands, of like-minded people who all they want to know is 2 things. What's your name? Where are you from? I'm sorry, 3 things. Do you want to dance? That's it. That's all they care about. So, looking at where we come from, looking at where we are now, please, it's just a stepping stone. You've got to get bigger.
Richmond has a heart. Richmond is incredibly strong in the arts. Richmond is not an underdog. Richmond is just that untapped community. There's talent, there's joy, there's purity, there's laughter, there's love, there's humility, there's hunger.
With this community, everyone seemed warm, everyone seemed nice, everyone seemed like, it was like a fruit basket. It wasn't just, yo, Latinos only. No, it was like, yo, if you can do it, rock in, do your thing, and have fun with it.
I think it's really cool that other people from other countries want to dance salsa as well, because like I know for me, I would like to learn other dances from other countries, and I know they would like to learn it as well.
They don't care. They're ready to teach you, you know, whether it's your first time, your 500th time, you know, they're just like, come on out, have a good time. They don't care.
The message for me is follow your dream. Any dream can come true. I am a living witness to that. I'm an African American from Richmond, in the forefront of the salsa community that's about to go huge. So the message is, it doesn't matter who you are or what you do, whatever the dream is, follow it, fulfill it, make it happen.
We are here with the student producers of Areando, Emilio Alvarez, Spencer Dunn, and Tim Thomas. Good job, guys. Emilio, let me start with you. What actually inspired you to do this particular subject?
Well, that credit kind of goes to my younger sister, Selena. She would invite me out to these Latin dance events, and I would notice that it was very inclusive, very diverse, and I thought, man, that goes right with Richmond's message of, diversity, and I really wanted to shed some light into that, and I kind of brought that idea to the group, and everyone kind of agreed.
Okay, Spencer, let me ask you, what were some of the challenges that you faced while shooting this? I'm sure there were some.
Yes. First of all, we often found ourselves in these cramped, usually dark spaces, so having the cameras in there, trying to lug those around and trying to get good shots on top of all that was always a challenge, just making sure that we could get where we need to be. But also, even though the community was so inclusive and understanding, it did feel like we were kind of intruding on these intimate moments between the dancers, because it's a very intimate kind of dancing that they're doing. So it never felt quite comfortable to me to be pointing a camera at them, but they were very gracious about it, and we appreciate that.
Did anybody ever act like you were being intrusive by turning on your lights or whatever?
A couple people, but they let us know well beforehand, and we kind of just worked around them.
Okay, all right, good. Tim, let me ask you, what stuck out to you most about this community as you followed them around all this time while shooting this?
What stood out to me the most is that although it's Latin dance, there were people of all colors there. Also, people seemed extremely passionate about Latin dance. One woman came in and she was new, but an instructor, brought her over and showed her the basic steps, and she seemed to genuinely enjoy herself.
So will any of you be actually practicing this now that you've learned so much about it?
No amount of practice could help me.
Is it tough to do? I mean, it looks like it looks like it takes a lot of talent.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it.
Commitment and whatnot. So.
It was hard to believe that people could do this just on the weekends and get as good as they were.
Yeah, I can imagine. Was there? Did you find that it was just as diverse as you thought it was going to be? I mean, because that's one thing that stuck out to me was it wasn't all Hispanic people that were doing this at all.
I think we all had some idea that it was going to be relatively diverse, but honestly, I was a bit shocked. I don't know about you guys, just how diverse it was. I mean, you had people who were, Asian descent, African American descent, from everywhere. One girl from Russia and an instructor from the Ukraine. Like, it was insane how diverse it was.
Okay. Well, thanks again to the producers of Areando, Emilio Alvarez, Spencer Dunn, and Tim Thomas.
Thanks again, Dr. Oglesby, and all of the documentary students. That does it for this edition of VCU In-Depth. Thank you for joining us. I'm Eli Ruckman.
And I'm Tyler Thrasher. For all of us at VCU In-Depth, good night.